South America is on edge. From the Caribbean coastline to the towering Andes, a storm is gathering. The continent, long a chessboard of silent rivalries and shifting alliances, suddenly awakens to a dramatic display of force. On the horizon, shadows rise. Massive warships cut across the waves, steel giants armed with power enough to reshape a region. Their decks are alive with helicopters, armored vehicles, and squads of Marines standing ready. Above the surf, the sound of rotors shakes the air. Helicopters descend in synchronized formations, carrying troops and supplies toward the shore. Landing craft race toward the beaches, their ramps poised to drop. Then it begins. Engines roar, water explodes, the sand trembles as armored vehicles roll ashore, followed by wave after wave of soldiers storming the beachhead. Across South America, people watch in disbelief. In Caracas, government officials sit in uneasy silence. For Venezuela, this is not just a military event, it is a warning, played out live for the world to see. The waters of the Pacific are alive with power. Spread across the ocean are nearly 30 warships, destroyers, frigates, amphibious transport docks, and supply vessels, each flying the flag of a different nation. Together, they form a coalition armada unlike anything South America has seen in decades. From the decks of American destroyers, sailors coordinate maneuvers with allies from Colombia, Peru, Brazil, Chile, and beyond. Communications flow seamlessly, orders are carried out with precision, and beneath the waves, submarines move in silence. 4 of them, gliding unseen through the depths, practicing stealth, reconnaissance, and power projection. For Venezuela, whose naval forces consist of aging ships and limited resources, this sight is sobering. Against such a fleet, its ports could be blockaded, its coasts sealed within days. This is not merely a gathering. It is a reminder of who controls the seas. The roar of engines shakes the skies above Peru's coastline. UH-60 Black Hawk helicopters sweep overhead in tight formation. From the decks of amphibious ships, CH-53 Sea Stallions thunder into the air, carrying heavy cargo and Marines into the interior. Moments later, AV-8B Harrier II jump jets streak upward, their vertical takeoff and landing capabilities perfect for operating from carriers and amphibious ships. Surveillance planes orbit the skies, gathering intelligence. Drones stream live footage to commanders far offshore, ensuring every movement on the battlefield is visible. This aerial dominance leaves no doubt. Any landing force here is untouchable. For Caracas, the message is chilling. Venezuela's own Su-30 fighters may be advanced on paper, but years of sanctions and maintenance issues have grounded many of them. Against this coalition air armada, their odds of survival would be slim. The skies, at least for now, belong to Washington and its allies. War is ultimately won on land, and here, the boots of Marines strike the beaches with thunder. Hundreds of U.S. Marines surge ashore, rifles raised, advancing with precision. Behind them, amphibious assault vehicles crawl forward, their turrets scanning for threats. Helicopters hover low, dropping reinforcements inland. Engineers establish makeshift fortifications, securing a beachhead in record time. But they are not alone. Peruvian Marines fight alongside them, defending their homeland in mock battles. Colombian troops maneuver through jungle terrain. Brazilian engineers build bridges and defensive lines. Smaller nations contribute medics, divers, and reconnaissance units, each essential to the greater whole. Together, they move as one force. For Venezuela, this sight is terrifying. Its own army, though large, struggles with outdated equipment, low morale, and fractured command. Against this coalition, Caracas knows it would be outmatched. Why here? Why Peru? The answer lies in geography. Peru offers what few nations can: direct access to both the Pacific coast and the Amazon interior. Its coastline is perfect for amphibious landings, while its dense jungles provide a testing ground for guerrilla and counterinsurgency operations. Hosting such an event elevates Peru's position on the global stage. It demonstrates loyalty to Washington, but also a commitment to regional security. For Venezuela, however, Peru's role is unsettling. It confirms that U.S. influence is not confined to the north, but stretches deep into the heart of South America. Across the continent, reactions ripple like shockwaves. In Colombia, the mood is celebratory. Long Washington's closest ally in the region, Bogotá views the operation as a guarantee of protection against Venezuelan hostility. Colombian officers proudly train side by side with American Marines. In Brazil, leaders walk a more cautious path, but still lend their strength. Brasilia uses the opportunity to demonstrate its submarines and naval aviation, showing that South America's giant has its place at the table. In Chile, Ecuador, and Argentina, opinions vary. Some praise the coalition for maintaining stability, others warn of provocation, concerned that the moves could trigger escalation. But across the region, one truth becomes clear. The United States can project overwhelming force into South America, and it will never act alone. Inside Venezuela, the scene is starkly different. The nation is already crippled by economic collapse. Inflation runs wild, infrastructure decays, millions have fled, seeking refuge across borders. Its military, once among the strongest in Latin America, now suffers from shortages of food, fuel, and spare parts. Corruption runs deep, desertions are frequent. Against this backdrop, the images of hundreds of foreign troops storming South American beaches spark outrage and fear. State media denounces the arrival as aggression, calling it preparation for invasion. Officials label it an imperialist maneuver, an insult to sovereignty. But behind closed doors, military leaders whisper another truth. If such a coalition ever turned its eyes on Caracas, resistance would crumble in days. And then, the announcement comes. This operation is part of Unitas, the world's longest-running multinational maritime exercise. This time, hosted by Peru, bringing together over 20 nations, nearly 30 ships, 4 submarines, and 20 aircraft. The stated goal, to strengthen partnerships, train joint forces, and ensure regional security through shared capability. For Washington, Unitas is about unity. For its allies, it is reassurance. But for Caracas, the name offers no comfort. The imagery: armored vehicles storming beaches, Marines advancing under air cover, ships bristling with weapons, looks less like training and more like a rehearsal for invasion. So what message was the United States truly sending? Officially, Unitas is a celebration of cooperation, but the scale of the force speaks louder than words. This is projection. This is deterrence. This is Washington showing that at any moment, it can bring overwhelming force into South America, not as an outsider, but backed by a coalition of regional partners. To allies, it is a promise. To adversaries, it is a warning. Yet such shows of power carry risks. For Venezuela, Unitas feels like encirclement. Every maneuver looks like a prelude to war. Every landing feels like a message directed at Caracas. The risk of miscalculation grows. A Venezuelan patrol plane shadowing Allied aircraft. A warship wandering too close to the exercise zone. A misstep could spark confrontation. History has shown how exercises can become flashpoints. And in a region already under strain, one spark could ignite a fire none can control. And then, as quickly as it began, it ends. The warships withdraw, the Marines reboard their transports, helicopters vanish into the skies, the beaches fall silent once more. But the images remain. For South America, it was a reminder of unity or of vulnerability. For the United States, it was proof of dominance. For Venezuela, it was a vision of what could come. Foreign troops storming nearby shores, armed with power beyond resistance. The question lingers, unanswered. Was this merely an exercise in cooperation, or the rehearsal for something far greater?